Good afternoon. You must think I'm a mad jihadi by now, so I might as well just dispel that stereotype or whatever it is. I'm glad to report that I do now have camera on my computer. See, instead of a camera, a webcam on my laptop, I have like a Dell ThinkPad. It's not even a Dell, it's a Lenovo ThinkPad. I'm thinking Dell because that's what you're meant to do, obviously, when you're thinking laptops. But I'm thinking Dell when I should be saying I can think Dell, but as long as I say Lenovo, which is the case, that's really what it is, right? So I picked up a Lenovo. It's basically a work computer, which is awesome. It's like industrial strength. I like to think of it as. Little sucker, I've had it for like over a year now, year and a half, and I just spent $100 on it just because I felt like I should, like $150, like for just virus scan and optimization and rubbish that you can do at home, or like in your spare time if you've got an MCSE or some damn thing like that. I've got an MCSE and an A plus certificate, so I'm the bomb, obviously, right? You know what I think about these videos is that no one watches them because I feel like I must appear to be too full of myself. And on the other hand, from my own perspective, I feel like I should be more gentle with you, dear user or dear listener. And I shouldn't assume that you know everything I'm talking about. That's what I do. See, I assume that people know what I'm talking about, and I come down on them really hard because that's the way I am with myself. In any case, I wanted to talk about cloud computing. And the reason I want to talk about cloud computing is A, to test the camera out, and then B, oh my God, what a terrible day in IT. People don't even understand what happened today. It might have been earlier this week, it might have been earlier this month. In fact, it would have happened at the meeting where this sad state of affairs was finalized in terms of Google is now talking about the cloud. Google is talking about the cloud. So let me uh, let me put that into context for you with regards to why that is so earth-shattering and why is that such a terrible thing. First of all, there is no fucking cloud. Do you understand? It's just a word. Cloud is the internet. Cloud is virtualization. Cloud is software as a service. Cloud is a goddamn network. Any two computers that are collected together, right? And one of them has a brain, that's called cloud. So if you've got mainframe and a terminal, that's cloud computing. Why? Because if you're looking at the terminal and you're in the terminal's world doing your processing, right? I mean, I guess ideally the cable is not cloud. The cable is it should be wireless. But if you've got two computers, this is the server. It's bigger as you can see, and this is the terminal. This little guy really has no idea what's going on. All he knows is that when he does a computation and sends it into this little box, it comes out with the answer, and he's like, shit, I didn't do that. What he doesn't know is that that box is a portal to the processing power of this computer here. The stuff gets done here, and the answer gets sent back over here. And you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of terminals connected to this server. Now, that in itself is a complicated example. If this is a computer with a brain, why do I say with a brain? Well, the only way two computers can communicate is if one has a brain. If two of them are set up with communication capabilities, but neither of them knows how to communicate, then nothing's going to happen. So if you have people who have ears and eyes and they don't know how to speak and they you can't not hear, but and you can't not see, right? But at the same time, there you go. So you might have heard of a company called Salesforce.com. They invented what's called software as a service. Now many people will disagree with that statement. I don't care about many people. Mark Benoit marketed the whole concept of no software. He's got software, the word software, with like the Ghostbusters cross out, right? Or the no parking cross out, or the no gay activity cross out. Um, but it's a software company. It's a genius move. It's a genius move. I mean, like, what was he thinking? I mean, Larry Ellison mentored Mark Benoit. That really has to be said because he does now, for sure. Now that Mark Benoit has a billion-dollar software company, Larry Ellison was my ex-boss. I like to call him my ex-boss, and he was my ex-boss. I mean, he was my ex-boss's boss's boss's boss, whatever boss. You know what I mean? I worked at Oracle. He was Uncle Larry, and I was part of that family. Whether it was for 6 months or 16 years, doesn't matter. Mark Benoit was there for 14 years. He learned what he did, and I had to skedoodle on. I had stuff to take care of. I couldn't sit around endlessly closing more deals than anyone else, more bigger deals than other people, as well as being treated shit like my boss by my boss. So I moved on. I love hair bands, by the way, in case you're wondering. So okay, Larry Ellison. Okay, so why did I start? Why is okay? So why is it such a dark day for the industry? Okay, so Google is the IBM of the internet. Okay, so Google is the IBM of the internet, and IBM is not another company that you compete in the IT world. IBM is the environment that you compete in. This is something that's said in the IT world. So when Larry started his company back in 76 or 74, in a way he went up against IBM. In a way, what he did was inconceivable. IBM put out this paper on relational databases, and Larry and his guys look at it and they're like, "There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to do this. In theory, it's just perfectly fine. I don't see any problem with it whatsoever," says Larry Ellison. Now, on the other hand, IBM themselves didn't market it. It's just like Xerox invented the mouse, and Apple stole it from Xerox, and Microsoft stole it from Apple, who stole it from Xerox. But both of them knew what was going on. And when Steve Jobs calls Bill Gates down to Silicon Valley, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Because I mean, obviously, Jobs was putting out a proper Windows interface, a graphical user interface, and a mouse and everything. And marketing man Bill Gates, who I have tremendous respect for, how can you not, right? I mean, I diss Microsoft day and night, but I don't think I'll ever diss Bill Gates. Microsoft is a marketing machine, and it's a marketing company. That's all it does. It's just like Larry says, their idea of innovation is just taking other people's software, copying features from it, and putting it into Windows. Putting it into Internet Explorer, and then you put a company like Netscape out of business. You put it into Microsoft Word, and then you put these other guys. Remember these cool Word applications from the DB123 or Lotus? Lotus is still around, I guess, thanks to Novell. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But in any case, Google is the IBM of the internet. Okay? So Google, you don't compete against Google. You use Google to compete against others, right? Now, Larry Ellison is the reason I understood the whole thing behind the cloud. Everything I've said about cloud computing is from a speech that Larry Ellison, it's not even a speech, it was just impromptu rantings of a mad genius. Okay? And I say mad with the utmost deference and respect. He's mad just like I am mad, which means that people think he's mad, but he knows people are mad, right? Ed Zander, who is a heavyweight in his own right, he's the one who came up with the Motorola Hello Moto campaign, among other things, by the way. And that campaign made the Motorola Razr the best-selling phone of all time at that point in time. And I've repeated these things on a video before, but you know what? I like to think and I like to say that a good speaker is not one who rambles on endlessly, but a good speaker is one who actually says the same things again and again from time to time, because he's arrived on a good kind of something or the other, like set of points, and he repeats them because they work and they're the correct conclusions or the correct culmination of thinking around a certain area of activity. Now, this guy, the Patriots coach, Vince Lombardi, he had a speech that he always used to give. Whenever people used to call him to ask for a speech, he would give the same speech. It was his speech. He gave the same speech every time. He might have given it like 5,000 times in his career. I don't know, 50 times. I really don't know. Anyhow, Ed Zander asks Larry about cloud computing, and Larry loses it. He's like, "What is cloud computing?" He's like, "Is it water vapor? Is it, what is it?" He's like, "I guess Intel must be in trouble because there's no microchips in the cloud. Is Samsung in trouble because there's no hardware in the cloud? I guess we must be in trouble, like Oracle, because there's no databases, there's no middlewares and there's no applications in the cloud. What is cloud computing? Like everyone's going on about cloud computing, and this is what he says. He's like the worst is the VCs, the venture capitalists. You want to like people send him proposals all the time. Oh, Mr. Ellison, this and this and this and this, and our company's going to do this and this, and our software. I'm sure he gets like 1,000 of those that his legal team goes through, or somebody must go through, because he knows he might find a nugget in there. He probably invested in what is his name, Benoit. He probably invested in Benoit. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he has a huge share in software. What's it called? Salesforce.com. Good company. Don't want to say nothing about Salesforce.com apart from the fact that it's a software company. Okay. It's like what happened to open source. Did anyone remember open source? They were meant to take out like Microsoft at one point. Hey, and all you got is Mozilla as a weak second against Chrome or some damn thing now. Internet Explorer might still be number one. Anyhow, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know. The VCs, they come to him with proposals, and then basically he'll be like, "Oh, Microsoft Word, change internet to cloud," and that's what everyone's been doing. Just stop talking about the cloud. Stop it. There's nothing there to talk about. I see these ads on cloud, some cloud company. Our cloud will put out this ad, and they'll be like, our cloud is so great. Our cloud, shit, man. Like I saw something which actually seemed to make some sense the other day, which was kind of different. I mean, if you're going to talk about cloud, at least differentiate yourself. Someone talked about the managed cloud. Okay, that makes sense. Which is cloud. You get cloud, but you also get support. It's the same. You're not doing anything different from a technological perspective. From a business perspective, like Larry says, you have a subscription model. And from a marketing perspective, it's like, oh my God, cloud computing, it's the greatest thing ever to hit Silicon Valley. It's like magic. It's like poof, and you don't install anything on your computer. Everything gets taken care of. All your updates, you're always current. There's no more like there's a lot that can be done with the concept if it's done correctly, but you know what it is? It's just another word for something that we should have been doing all along. Like I come from a software sales background, and 80% of software, I won't say implementations, but acquisitions turn into the biggest money pit just because you've spent 6 figures or 7 figures on software, or 8 figures, or hello, even 9 figures on freaking software. $100 million is what freaking Computer Associates paid for freaking SAP, only to turn around and get freaking Salesforce. Good move there, by the way. I'm kind of bent out of shape because I was about Salesforce because they promised me an interview and didn't deliver. I called like 20 of their sales VPs in Toronto, and they all got together and realized what was happening. And the guy was like, "Oh my God, Hussein, you're awesome, and we got the message, and our recruiter is going to be contacting you." Recruiter number one calls. Recruiter number one, like Sarah Jones in New York, and she's a contract recruiter, and she asked me, "Have you always met your quota?" And that's the one question that you should always ask every sales guy. And the answer, I told her the truth is, of course not. And I hadn't thought of the question, and that's why I bombed on it. But you're not meant to reach your quota. You're meant to be number one, right? If everyone's not reaching their quota and you're not, but you're number one, that's good enough, actually. That's all it is. So quota is rubbish. It's just a number that they pull out of the sky. It doesn't mean anything unless the CEO comes down to the trenches and sells software like the other guys. In any case, and I had this beautiful VP called Ed Charter. Ed, if you're out there, props to you, buddy. He reached out to me and helped me out not once but twice. He was so impressed with my voicemail. He reached out to me 6 weeks down the line. And so anyhow, I'm running out of time. There is no cloud. Larry said it's just like Chanel. They were Capuce, and then they're Fusion, and then they're Chanel. It's just changing words. Software acquisitions, 80% of the time, you get all the software, nobody installs it, nobody trains their users, nobody uses it, nobody weans people off the old software, nobody goes down this path of trajectory, this trajectory of going to where you should be from a best practices perspective, like from an ITIL perspective in terms of service management or whatever. I've rambled a lot. Most people are going to think I'm an idiot, but remember, if you've come this far, go look up Ed Zander, Larry Ellison, Churchill Club, or just Google Larry Ellison cloud computing rant.